GM, and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, the show where we discuss the latest cryptocurrency news and discuss the market so that you stay up to date in the world of Web3. Today, guys, it's the Tuesday session. I'm back with Block Pro, and it's a bit of a red day, Block Pro. I think Monday there was a little bit of hope. After Friday, people are like, okay, maybe we can get back to it. And waking up today, we're in another sea of red. Bitcoin back down to 111k. I was actually in a short. But I pulled out of it too early. I've been a little bit hesitant recently with the volatility.
Okay.
Perhaps I need to stick to my guns a little bit more at the moment. But Block Pro, what's been catching your eye at the moment?
Not too much really. We of course had that little bit of a pullback on Friday, tiny one.
Just a small.
Yeah, but further usually when these types of events happen, I just let the market do its thing for a little bit, not jump into too many longs or too many shorts. Just let it ease out. Yesterday we discussed in the CEC Discord a potential short. That one worked out according to plan, so that's absolutely lovely. And now I'm basically just waiting for some decent direction again in the market. Until then, probably stick with a couple scalps. Nothing too major.
No, so, and I've been keeping up with your TA in the Discord as well. Some good positions there, but right now, are you just finding it a little bit more difficult to preempt the direction, or is it just the volatility which is just making trading right now a little bit dangerous?
Well, there are multiple aspects of it at the moment. Also, what I made a Twitter post about Friday, no amount of TA can predict something like this. Another thing is that my macro chart actually ended yesterday. What's also quite interesting to see. Now, basically means that I need to work on a new plan to see what will be the next step, because I do think we need a little bit of a blow off top before prices will come down even further. And also how much liquidity is there actually left in the market. So I think basically my approach for this week is just take it easy, just take it slow, just see where the direction will go. Still, with the government shutdown in the US is also not helping, of course, whatsoever. What is fun to see or weird to see is that with government shutdowns, usually markets will pump in oblivion. They always will end up higher before when the close is actually over. And in this case, I think the combination of just weird timed tweets from Mr. Trump himself, of course, just led to a bloodbath on the market. But yeah, it also gives a hell of a lot of opportunities.
I did see you comment in the Discord as well that you're looking for some potential altcoin opportunities as well. I just wanted to mention to the audience as well, if there's any altcoins you want us to look at today, please put them into the chat and we will go through them when we pull up the chart slightly later. First off, though, let me have a quick look at the comments. We've got Mr. John Brown in the chat. Good to see you, GM John. And we've got Roy here as well, GM Legends. Lovely to see you guys. And if you've got any altcoin suggestions, please whack them into the chat. We'll go through them. But for now, let me pull up Crypto Bubbles. We can have a look at the sea of red. If I just pull our faces down a little bit over here, get rid of this banner as well, and then we get cracking. Where is the banner? Here we go. Cool. Perfect. So I have to pull up. I know a lot of people in an Asta trade. That's now 13% down on the daily, 33% on the week, $1.33 right now. Has this come into a zone for you, or do you think we see a slightly more downside towards that $1 region?
I actually just closed my trade on Asta. I was short on it yesterday evening, closed it this morning, went for a tiny long position, got out with 30% profit on the trade, and now I'm basically I'm out. So it's just waiting for a little bit of direction. I don't even have proper TA on it. It looked decent.
Yeah.
It was an eyeball trade basically. But I do think Yeah, a little bit of this one is easy, especially if you look towards Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, oh, here probably will bounce at the range of where we are now. So that also will mean for the altcoins that it starts to get a little bit more bullish. But that's what I absolutely love. If we have like a couple of like volatile days where you basically can fit day trade sized scalps in multiple in a day. That is when the pace becomes a little bit higher. So yeah, it's an interesting one, Aster. Lots of discussion going on around the token and the platform itself. So we'll see how that one will play out.
I've just pulled over to the weekly here. Obviously Zcash stands out. We've got Chain Opera AI here as well. And then also Synthetics Networks as well. But mostly, you know, I'd say an average of around 30% down here. Tau also actually in the green here. BitTensor, Pump down 40%. You can see Bitcoin here down 10%. Some other outliers: XPL, Plasma down a lot. TIA, I know a lot of the Discord are into TIA as well. Celestia there also down a lot. Jupe down 22% here. Not the best week, but I think it was. I think we've done well to recover slightly from Friday, but obviously Bitcoin now back down at 111k. We'll have to talk about this just in a moment as well. I will pull over quickly to the timeline as well, over to Twitter to see some top news, guys, before we pull over to the charts as well. You can see we're live here. So yeah, the US government just transferred 667.6 Bitcoin worth 74.7 million to a new wallet. What could they be up to? Just washing it probably. Yeah. We've got update on Borgi here. I know a lot of you got in on Borgi. We started talking about Borgi back in August, and you can see it's had a 430% gain. So well done to everyone that got involved there. I know Block Pro, you did some TA on Borgi very recently in the Discord as well. Project looks, you know, absolutely booming, like everything else in the Swiss Borg ecosystem. Obviously, a slight pullback from the recent high. We've got some major resistance here, as you can see in the chart. But yeah, have a look, guys. Get involved in the Borgi community. Really loud community that are always putting in the work and working for their bags. And at the moment, Swiss Borg ecosystem seems to be, you know, continuing to rise as well. We've got Fed Chair Powell will speak today at 12:20 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're in the UK, that will be around 6 or 7 p.m. I believe. And then if you're in APAC like myself, that will be towards midnight. Do we expect any movement on the charts with this, Block Pro?
No, not at all. I don't know what he's going to talk about, but I don't really care at this point. It's actually quite simple. Like all markets are having not even a difficult time. Everything is just at an all-time high. Things need to cool off now. Within the recent events, there's a chance, of course, that with the famous rate cuts that actually will get postponed a little bit further. What this guy has to say, I don't really care. It's already priced in anyway. But if you like to see some volatility on your chart, then you definitely need to tune in. But I don't recommend trading it, or that he will change. Or that something fundamentally changes in the market by a speech. So yeah.
Well, and like you mentioned in previous live streams, you can always put these meetings onto your chart. Put a little red line so that you don't miss it as well. For not for all of them, they're not always so important. We've got another post here saying Solana leads in blockchain real economic value with $223 million in Q3, followed by Tron at 160 million. A lot of people are building on Solana. A lot of the lending protocols and even the new kind of trading perps are often on Solana. A lot of volume going through there. Tron, though, a lot of people will go, what is Tron used for? Is it just that coin with Justin Sun? But no, a lot of people are doing stablecoin transactions with Tron. Yes. Turkey, India, Asia predominantly, Africa as well. And they do a lot of volume with stablecoins. It kind of mitigates using platforms like Western Union, or even using Bitcoin and Ethereum with higher fees there as well. You can see some outliers. Ethereum has quite a bit. Solana obviously in the green here. BNB slightly. And Bitcoin doesn't actually make up too much of that revenue a lot of the time. But you can see here, Solana continues to generate the most value, 223 million during the third quarter, followed by Tron at 160 million. Do you think we will see Solana continue, or do you think perhaps we will see some other layer ones? Will Mr. Justin Sun be the new face of crypto in years to come, do you think?
Well, I do think, especially when it comes to TRX, like, I like it. I use it an awful lot. I do still think that when it comes towards Solana, they have, I think they have a bigger name in the industry. And also just the amount of projects built on that is just insane, of course. I don't see a whole lot of TRX based projects, to be completely honest. But maybe it's also not completely my alleyway. But I think that when it comes towards Solana, that is of course like the obvious winner at the moment. I do think when it comes towards TRX prices that it will get silly in the future. Maybe not this cycle, but so something towards like $1 or something like that. Wouldn't actually be surprised if we will hit that at some point. Because that chart also had done such a rally. Like I say, I don't really think that it is ready to do that this cycle. But maybe in the future.
Yeah, the chart for TRX, you can compare it to gold almost. It's just like a steady incline.
Yeah, it's a mental one, because like I say, I use it almost on a daily basis, their network. I do not trade the ticker itself, just because it moves a little bit in a weird way. Moves more like in a stable way than actually into a nice volatile ticker. And I need that volatility, of course. So
yes, just had to pull up this tweet as well. So we were working with the guys behind Kairos, launched via BorgPad, now available on Swissborg and Jupiter Exchange, guys. This went live yesterday. If you got into the pre-sale, you would have got in at a $5 million valuation. And if I pull over to Kairos, it's now just gone down. It was at 6.99, now at 6.8. So nice increase there. If you got in on the pre-sale at 5 million, congratulations, guys. Personally, I'm a little bit disappointed. I was expecting this to go probably at least a 15 to 20 mil. I think this has got legs. How they had it set up, they had a Meteora dynamic pool. When the token went live, there was a 50% buy and sell fee. So that's how they kind of navigated around the snipers. You can see here there's kind of a fat line going down. And then that's basically where it started off, just above 4 million there. And actually, maybe this will make a steadier chart in the long run. Maybe we will see more of these kind of procedures for anti-snipers. There wasn't much volume in the first hour or so. How they had it was every 1 minute, every 3 minutes, it would drop down 1%. So after about 3 hours, it was down to the kind of normal ranges of between 1 to 10%, and now we'll probably be at around that 1% mark as well. Talking with the team, they're going to be doing some buybacks as well. So I'm waiting out for this token to kind of hit that 10 mil to 15 mil mark. We as a company have got a nice bag of this. But as always, guys, not financial advice. Do your own research. It is a Solana restaking protocol, backed by super teams and a lot of the industry greats there as well, and obviously BorgPad, Swissborg. So I'm expecting big things. Some of the competitors have a much higher token price. So we'll see how this goes, guys. Now pushing up to 7 mil. Got some buys coming in there. But I'll be updating you guys in the Discord. So if you have any questions about Kairos, let us know there as well. We may as well. I've seen Bitcoin's dropping a little bit lower, so I think it's time that we head over to the charts, Block Pro.
Yeah, sure. I was managing a runner in the meantime.
Nice.
So, yeah, quite a nice one. Easy setup here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, yesterday we, so every Monday, basically, I jump into the CZ Discord, note out some support and resistance levels, and basically tell my thoughts about the market. And so far, what we had mapped out is basically that, well, Bitcoin had gained into a new level range here on the top side that was between 114,626 all the way up to 116,500. Now you can see here a nice fat green line on the screen, and that basically means, well, if you start to gain that means you'll keep up the bullish momentum. So basically you create an BOS. So that is why it was important to actually map that one out. And as you can see, clear rejection at this point on the 4-hour close at 10 in the evening, or at least 10 in the evening Amsterdam time, so UTC +2. That led into a nice fat ass rejection. So I basically said, if you're a swing trader, do absolutely nothing, because just wait for it to come down. Trend is your friend till the end. Now, if we look into this setup right here, this was a so-called set and forget setup. It was based on a backtest. You can see also in the form of time how that thing is formed over the entirety of the day. Basically, I've set an order right there. Wanted to TP at the lower end of the start of the impulse. That was right over there. So this was basically a short going in from 115,788 all the way towards 111,630. And that actually sounds like a big trade. I don't really think it is. It's like, here 3.62%. Now managed to get in a little bit of a runner. So my stop loss is now here on the lower side of the chart. So that means if we bounce back up, I will get stopped out in profit. If it will fall even further down, then that means we need to pay attention towards a level here on the downside at $109,718. If we start breaking below that, then we're of course going to look up some lower numbers in liquidity. I actually wouldn't be surprised if we might go there, to be completely honest here. Because what is important with this entire structure, so this is the mega dump from last Friday, and that one went quite deep. So lovely liquidation. And what you will see is this candle body over here. So on the 15-minute, the first buying candle that actually closed nice and bullish is something that I actually want to see that it will get retested. That will also lead into a form of that a lot of people will see the massive liquidity grab, and they probably will forget that there will be a retest of that same area before you actually start trading up again. And that is simply how liquidity grabs work. You get the liquidity grab, you get the retest after that. So in that case, if I look towards this chart here and look also towards where my end of my liquidity zone is for the current price action, so with that I mean this part over here, that is actually at $108,830.14. So I actually expect to start tapping into that area, probably here, fuck around a little bit, move down into that area, cause some panic because of this 4-hour low. And that would be absolutely lovely if that would be the play, because then again people will start shorting it, make some fat ass liquidity on the top side, new created FVGs, and then start trending up again. That would be absolutely lovely to see. So far still, when it comes towards like that 4-hour stuff or daily time frame stuff, we do need still a little bit more price development before we can say something really concrete about the price. I do think that it is time for traders to actually come up with their plans with because I see some messages from, yeah, bear market has started, this was the cycle top, blah blah blah. It's just where we can say like, maybe that you want to come up with a plan to say like, oh, maybe we'll look more into the day trading stuff instead of the swinger, instead of the swing trading positions. But yeah, so I see this more as a trap at the moment than actually a complete nuke. Because one of the things that actually is just weird with Bitcoin at the moment, like Bitcoin is not really surprising, to be completely honest, is that on Friday, when we had this lovely pullback here, lovely retracement, is that immediately it is like, oh yeah, we're going back towards like 50 or 60K. And the thing is still low.
Yeah.
Nothing has broken. Actually, nothing has changed in the structure of Bitcoin, where the altcoins that were completely fucked. So I think that as long as I still see a valid structure, then this can even lead into a new all-time high based from this here. And that's also why I say we need to have a little bit more price development to come up with better scenarios. I know, like, I'm aware that these scenarios are kind of shit at the moment, especially if you're sitting and say, like, don't know what the plan is.
And Block Pro, this is going to be a difficult one, because I know you don't trade off sentiment, you trade off the charts. But do you think there is the sentiment in the markets to make a new all-time high, or does it even matter?
Well, we have not been there yet. Like, I had a goal in mind, and we have not seen that goal yet. I do think what I can do, and I did the same yesterday in the CZ Discord, is I showed the chart, my mega macro chart. So boom, here we go. Needs to load up probably. Is it this one? Need to double check.
Just wanted to make sure as well, guys. This is called GM Crypto and Coffee, so make sure you got your coffee. I got a random Japanese black coffee. Block Pro, you drinking a coffee as well?
100%, sir.
Good.
For the Dutch people, they will absolutely love this. No, I got a nice fat ass double espresso here.
Nice.
To keep the energy going. The chart of charts. I shared not a whole lot of this. Maybe during some coaching sessions that I have given some explanation about it. I kept it pretty well for only a select few people, in the form of what I would think that would happen with the entirety of the Bitcoin cycle.
No screenshots, guys.
Oh, you can screenshot it. It is played out. So we're in the last week.
It's done.
So it's done, and that's also why I say this is actually quite fun if you basically start mapping out all the dates, all the price ranges, to see like where are we going to end up. And this chart was way more complicated than it looks right now, so I tried to clean it up quite a bit. And I think if we look at, like I said, there are still some drawings left from last cycles, but they don't really matter too much for this explanation. So if we look towards that entirety of the cycle here so far, then you can actually see that my end date for the cycle was, or for the Bitcoin cycle, was on the 13th of October. So I thought it was actually quite funny to see the liquidation. I thought like, oh, if I'm off with like 2 days, then I did my job quite well. But that's sadly enough not 100% the case. So we actually have like 3 phases of a bull run. And the first phase is, I call it confusion and fuckery. That is basically, or do we keep rallying, or do we start going like up and down, and that resulted in basically no response whatsoever. Well, this is based also from previous cycles with same dates, same also same president, of course. might have something to do with it. But you can actually see that when at the moment we actually head into the second phase, so that was on the 9th of February, a lot of panic started to come in the market with, is this actually the year of the bull cycle? Are we going up? Are we going down? That is where I said, like, phase 2, it is over, pack your bags and go home, or wait for summer. Well, this period actually took quite some time. It was calculated for the 4th of May, what is actually contrary from sell May and walk away. This was actually also what we said in May. This time it might be a little bit different because of some of the bull runs. A lot of people say, like, oh, I'm only looking at the last cycle, but you need to look at all of them and try to see if you can find some sort of structure in it. So in this case, if we look towards the 5th of May, that's actually where we ordered or came into phase number 3, order a yacht phase. And from that point on, it actually has become quite silly. Now, one of the things that actually got my attention throughout this entire period is that there has been a main liquidity zone that was between 88 and 91. Now, the question is going to be, as you can see, is, well, I have had my first target here on the top side at $124,602. Well, we hit that. But it is also a little bit of a target where I say, like, it's not mega. I preferably had seen like maybe like 150 towards 160, maybe even higher with a nice little retail FOMO push, basically. So from this perspective here now, that's also why I say my TA stops here. So it's basically time for me to get back into figuring out what the next step will be, because I do think timing wise that, again, like, if I can figure it out, then that dump or that liquidity grab was timed with someone else that thought, oh, that would align quite well with something else, and if it then happens like 2 or 3 days before the exact date, then, well, I will take it, of course. So it's an interesting one. So if I now would go back towards my normal chart, towards this one right here, the crypto saving expert chart, does need to load up again. There it is. You can see that this chart is just different. It's just a complete different structure of what we see with a macro chart. And again, if I now would look and say, like, okay, what would be reasonable to go from here is, well, if we would look towards how low this wick went. So let's take a box of that and just map that entire zone out. Then you can actually see that that basically means that everything from the 8th of May, where we said walk away, has been taken. So that is then where I actually start to believe a little bit more in a retest of that lower area before we start gaining up again. So like I say, it's now just an incredibly difficult one to figure it out, and that's also where I think that, like, the lower time frames are a little bit nicer at the moment, because there is more than enough price action, especially if you are a holder. Oh, there we go, by the way, into that zone. If you are a holder of Bitcoin, like, then I already had said, like, a year ago, like, start thinking about an exit plan or what you want to do once Bitcoin hits certain prices. So yeah, local now at the moment, it's funny because we can just shift this one towards the right side. Is actually, if we can get a reaction here towards the low side in this nice liquidity zone, we actually want to see some form of a market structure retest all the way towards 115 again. Would create a lovely wave pattern to just mess with everyone. So would be quite bullish on that. Maybe we go back
right now, isn't it? About to go below 110, I think.
Maybe we go back into the phase of confusion and fuckery and just start. Would absolutely love that. So then, with Ethereum, yeah, this thing also got hit quite a bit. Also not super surprised about it. It just, again, like I don't have a mega macro chart about this one anymore. Because for me it got played out a while back and I just got absolutely bored with the price action on Ethereum itself. So this now again actually indicates downtrend. But then the question is, are we actually going and keep it up? So if we check here on the low side, is that you can actually see that there has been a minor support and resistance level in that same range. And that one got broken. So technically, well, if we start looking at a pattern like this, yeah, that is not amazing, because then we looking for something that forms like this. But then again, that's what everyone is seeing. So that means that we need to switch up the strategy of how to do TA a little bit. So again, we now have reached a nice liquidity pocket. Low side of that is 3,848.59. I do think we probably will close this, maybe close this low here of the fair value gap, just to fuck around a little bit. And I think from that point on, we're probably going to do the same as what we see with Bitcoin now, is actually take this entire pocket, just take it out, because everyone that was ready to long the absolute fuck out of the crypto market again was sitting there with their 1000x button on 99% risk. So just take them out. If I then would look structure-wise, well, as you can see, or we need to break here the high of $4,220 to start moving up higher. And if we want to continue the low, that means a complete break below 3,554. This range is just very big. If we would measure that one out, yeah, we're talking about a 15% range. Ooh. So that means we need to break it up. That's where a big time frame keeps things easier. And that also tells me now from maybe better to actually wait or to stick with the lower time frames. So here we go, boom, 15 minutes. And on the 15 minutes, well, we actually see quite a lovely form of structure, because we have here a nice little backtest here on the low side at 3,823.36. But if we come back towards that range, then you can actually see an issue with this backtest area. And that means the point of control, so the volume point goes through the backtest range. So I actually expect to liquidate lower and surge up the next pocket. So I might be interested in longing it again as soon as we basically hit this zone here. If we do not get this,
what price range is that, bro?
That low zone is at 3,777. For me personally, if we don't get that, I will just not trade it and live to trade another day, because I just want those greedy bits in. Especially after Friday, because that was fucking expensive.
Yeah. Do you have some of these stinky bids in place, or are you just keeping an eye on the chart at the moment?
I think I have not set a limit order on it yet. I do have on my other chart an alarm set for it, for if it lines up, then I can act fast on it. Because like I say, it's now just, there's also a chance that it just gets sold off again. So I just try to be really careful with it. Like I said, I had Friday, I had pretty big loss. Like a lot of people still was within the limits of what I could afford to lose, but that also means that I want to make it back, of course. But you don't want to rush into that process.
How does that song go? One trade, make it all back.
One trade and make it all back. Just go and sit behind your screen, being pissed off with "give me my money back." It's just not how shit's going to work. If you do that, you probably will get fucked again.
And for everyone listening, we use the term stinky bids. So a stinky bid is where you put a limit order much lower than the price is already, in the hope that there will be a wick that hits that, bit like on Friday. If
Yeah.
you had some limit orders really low down, people would look at them and go, what's the point of even placing them? They're not going to hit in the next few months. But every now and again, like we saw on Friday, those market fluctuations can happen, and you can get a really good entry. But then also can be quite dangerous, because if it does drop and it drops lower, and you're away from your computer, you may have even set this stinky bid months ago, and you've completely forgotten about it. It can also cause issues as well. But sometimes can be fun. I know there's some traders in the Discord that have had some amazing stink bids hit before.
Yeah, I think when you're a spot trader, you just need to set those orders in. It's as simple as that. If you want to do just make some with spot. I know guys that basically made on the recovery run from this weekend. 200-300% on their portfolio by just setting in those ridiculously low entries. So I had the same with ZRO, for example. I had an order $1. It went to 80 cents. Never would have imagined that, because my day-to-day chart actually showed a low of 160-ish. So then you don't expect that it will go way lower than that, of course. But that's the power of just preparing for ridiculously low bids. So it's the same. Like, I heard that someone went long on XRP from 150, for example. Ooh. Well, if you can get in trades like that, that means like as soon as that starts to recover, that's just easy money. That's like 64% on your portfolio. Well, do that every day. Luckily, it doesn't happen every day, but it does give a lot of opportunity, to say the least. So.
And sometimes as well, when the wick comes like a flash, sometimes there's not the liquidity. So your limit order may trigger, but then it may come in actually at a much higher price as well. So it's not always as good as it seems. But that's why you should trade on exchanges with deep liquidity.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it remains a funny one what happened on Friday, sir. I see lots of finger pointing toward Binance. But
the conclusion that we came to was, a lot of these large exchanges, they're complying with new regulation. The new regulation is, they can only have a certain amount of backing. They can only put so much to liquidity for the perps trading, etc. Basically, just tampering with the way it works already.
Yes.
Trying to fit their narrative, and then you wonder what the government's narrative may be for these new regulations, and then you go down a deeper rabbit hole.
Yeah, it remains like such an interesting one, because especially with the regulation side, the regulation is only there for the retail. It's not there for the exchanges. So I'm just going to put it out there again. If you are trading on a unified trading account, stop it now. Just don't trade with unified trading accounts. They are not mandatory. They're not mandatory by law. It's a concept of the exchanges to use your spot collateral for leverage positions. And that is what went wrong last Friday, is because they all offer it and they say, we do it to protect you. You can still, like I say, if you hold spot on the exchange, you're already doing something wrong from the fundamentals from trading, because you only put a little bit on the exchange of what you want to sell. But if you have a unified trading account, at least make a sub account within that exchange. Keep your leverage separate from your unified spot holdings. Because I did had it was DM booming this weekend with where did my money go? Well, sadly enough, you had the wrong setting or not a full understanding of it. I see here also a lovely article, but it's not that we can say, like, I did quite a bit of research towards what has happened, and I still think it's timed to flush out the leverage out of the market again. And we can of course say but for example, like Binance, you couldn't log in for a little bit, or they closed hedge positions that were actually the long positions that they, the short positions that they closed and long positions that they kept open. I have seen stories of people saying, yeah, but I was trading with a stop loss, but my stop loss order didn't get filled. It was the same with me. I had a stop loss set on all my trades, and none of the stop loss orders got filled because no one was interested in actually buying that stop loss order. So it means that someone got a heads up to actually make sure that there was a lack of liquidity at that moment of the day. But again, how you can protect yourself at least a little bit is looking towards what type of exchange you are trading on. It's the same as like I've been looking a little bit more into decentralized exchanges recently because I am actually quite fed up with the big guys out there.
They're the ones making the money.
Yeah, they have been printing.
Right?
And they do need to make money, but I also think that you cannot keep doing this time and time and time again. I think this is now the 5th time in 2025 that such a crash happens, and it just takes all the liquidity out of the market. Also, meaning that now you don't need a whole lot of money to actually start sending an altcoin up again. And that's also why I say, like, just please be careful with it. At least structure your portfolio in a wise way. And still, the best way to actually, if you fail with this trading part on leverage, buy spot. Just buy spot, and then you can literally say, "Oh, it's dumping. Oh, I'm buying a little bit more." Then you just really don't have to give a shit about it.
One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin.
One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin.
I know James here in the chat. I know he's a big. He doesn't even think in dollars or fiat currency. He thinks in sats. James does. So he's saying, "What are we doing to the Bitcoin price right now?" I do have I've put in a limit order at 109,780 for a long position. See how that plays out. We've got here on the tweet, you can see, unified trading implementation. So the collateral restriction changes inside these unified systems. Exchanges reduce their percentage of altcoin balances that can be used as collateral for leveraged trades. That means that traders suddenly had less usable margin than before, even though they didn't realize it. So yeah, a lot of these exchanges are making changes in the background to kind of comply to new regulation, and it's basically throwing off the system. There's a saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And they're trying to mess around a little bit too much, and it is having some repercussions. Perhaps these repercussions are better to be had now than later down the line, though.
Yeah, like I say, it's just such an old. I do get that shit needs to get regulated at some point, but regulated for everyone. It remains just a weird part where you can say, like, oh, the rules for the UK are different than the rules for Europe. The rules for Europe are different than the rules for the US. It's just doesn't make sense. And I also think that if you look towards, like, well, there must be someone that actually made like a shit ton of money. And this is also an issue that I have with wallet tracking, for example. I do understand that a lot of people like it, but it's the same with liquidity heat maps. That shit is out there with a reason to throw you off. And that is why I personally think that all answers are always in a chart. In this case, with looking at Bitcoin, because altcoins are already quite wrecked over this entire cycle, that you then can say, okay, so basically since the 8th of May, what lines up with a lot of macroeconomics, it all got wiped out. That then makes a little bit more sense to actually say, like, oh, but this person made 200 million on this and this person sold at the same time, because it's about creating fear in a market by throwing people off. And that's why I think it's so important to just have your own plan and stick to that plan, no matter what. Don't let yourself get thrown off by a tweet, because that doesn't help at all. Another thing what is quite important, also based on what I've read this weekend on my inbox that was just exploding, is even if you have lost, like the mindset should be, especially if you're a trader or want to be a trader and you want to do it for the long term, just walk away from it. If like I said, it was expensive. A lot of people have lost money, but it is also a lesson right there. And another thing is, like, in your mind, you should just go, well, it's just another loss. I will make it back anyway.
Because you've got to have that inner confidence.
Yeah, because that market, it's just mega difficult to trade in, or at least the assets that we look at are just volatile as hell. And sometimes you can get into like bigger positions that work out really well. But you do need to keep in mind that every time that you make a loss or something like this happens, is that a new opportunity arises, like buying a dip on spot, or learn more about how to manage your risk, or don't be greedy, take your profit. Because I remember that we have sat and looked at screens when Bitcoin was 116k, and that we were like, oh, it's so boring. And now it's like 124, and now it's like, yeah, I'm not going to take profits, bro. Don't be greedy. Just take what is there on the market. Maybe there will come a time again where you can get greedy, but then you need to be greedy with actually buying the correct dips and placing in those stinky bits.
It's like that with the altcoin market right now. Everyone keeps talking about alt season, but actually, we've called probably up to about 5 alts since about kind of June, July time, August especially, that are over double the price they were just a month ago. And people are going, no, I'm going to wait off until to alt season. I'll throw my hands up. I've been taking small profits, kind of setting up DCAs on some of these altcoins that we have mentioned on stream. Some of them have gone 5x since in the last few months. But yet the kind of sentiment is no, alt season's coming, higher is coming. But that's not to say that I've kept those stables for long. I've probably put them into to other projects as well, other coins, but that's just the way it is at the moment. But yes, if it does go up, in the traditional market, 20% in a year is you're smashing it. We can have 2x in a month in crypto, and people going, it's just the start. It's the greed, isn't it? It's we've got James here saying, if we fall out of the weekly channel at 111k, we could have an issue with continuing bull market.
Yeah, well, I would personally, but that's me, by the way. I would just bear market. I would say, come here. I'm ready for it. But that's just implemented in my brain. Especially, like, I don't really like trading these high prices for every asset. So that means that like bear markets come with so much opportunities. Like I say, I actually don't believe that it is over. It doesn't feel like it is over whatsoever. But it's just based on fear, and especially now, like I said, like, we need to have that retest of that liquidation first, and after that we can actually look again at the chart and say, like, what will be the next step from basically from here. Another thing that actually still is quite a funny one is if we would look towards where is it? Come on, others. This chart, the crypto total market cap excluding the top 10, needs to load up a little bit. For some reason my computer decided to become super slow.
Oh, let me pull up your screen.
Is it already there?
There we go.
Yeah, so if we look towards this entire move towards the downside, and we say, well, let's start measuring that. Well, that's still $150 billion, what just, boom, gone.
Yeah.
And with looking at this entire structure, and like I said, there's not a whole lot of TA on this chart, but again, there's like a line here on the 10th of November where where I actually want to see some bullish momentum. If that's not the case, I probably will reduce some of my altcoin holdings, because it is just a difficult one. But again, if I go towards a weekly chart, well, it's just now we need to see and wait how this weekly is going to close. So I cannot put it on right now. But still, this shows that there is some form of strength, that we actually still have a support, not lost that support. So that support is actually, boom, not there, but that one is over here, 260, 55 billion-ish. Like, what's like being $5 billion off? It's not too much, right? So this actually still shows that there is still a little bit of that hope for the other chart going around. Total 3, for example, was looking at this yesterday, and I thought actually with myself, this is still just bullish. Like, it's mapped out weekly support and resistance, just bang on support. But what did it do? It liquidated the absolute crap out of everyone. So again, where I say difficult to actually say. Now, one of the things that I again would like to show here is something that I warned about for months now, and people do not understand it. As you can see, this chart is very simple because there is just not a whole lot to go off by. This is basically Bitcoin historical volatility index. And what we can see is that basically since April, jack shit has happened. Yeah, price moved, but there was no volatility. And this will be, and this is also something that I always recommend for traders to at least have in their watch list, is where you can see that, well, as soon as this falls still, no one is really interested into trading it on bigger moves. And now what happened basically last week is it spiked up like crazy. And that's where I say, like, this volatile move was something that we really needed this year to actually get that engine going again instead of just chugging along. Because the longer, especially with Bitcoin, the longer you keep trading in that above 100k zone, it's just creating liquidity on the top side and the downside. And what would be hellish, or at least hellish for me, is if you would trade for another year in the top zone, because with that it only means the entirety of everything economical right now looks like not too great. So is that then going to amplify a potential a global crash? What is inevitable, of course. So to see this thing pumping like crazy, freaking love it. I was looking at the chart while it was happening. I thought like, oh no, I lost money. But but it does look, it'll just laugh it off pretty much. Also with Ethereum versus Bitcoin, also still quite interesting. I am going to skip the Bitcoin dominance because it's just bullshit in my opinion. But it is still like, it's reasonably respected. It is currently, it has lost the SMA. It's trading below the SMA, so that means a little bit more down. But again, it starts to form a little bit of minor support over here. So it's just at the moment very difficult to say something like really smart, to say like this is going to happen, and then we hit that level, and then we hit that target, because we just simply do not know.
No.
You've
got to take it day by day, and the best place to take it day by day is in the Discord. If you have any questions, there's so many traders. There's myself, Block Pro, obviously that Martini guy. That Martini guy is restarting the 10k to $1 million challenge. Last challenge we did like 10k to $220,000, and then back down to like 100k. But we are restarting it so people can get involved from the start. So I'm looking forward to this. Perhaps a good opportunity. Will we be generally short over the time, or will we be going long more? Yet to figure that out. But we are starting today. So come join the Discord. Also, if you are wanting to trade, we have the best link for BLOFIN in the description. Also, if you're wanting to spend your crypto as well, Kast Card, we have a referral there. I think if you sign up and actually spend $100, you get $50 back, and then there's big cashback rewards. I've been using since June and have just under $1,000 in rewards already for when their token goes live as well. So yeah, really, really helpful. And also, guys, Kast is not FCA approved, so do with that information as you will. Not financial advice,
Yes.
but yeah, they are based out of Hong Kong, and you can use it almost anywhere. So go check them out, guys. All the links are in the description. Also, we have the Stonksy link. All there. Stonksy will be going live at 1 p.m. UK time, so that's 2 p.m. Central European time. And also, Mr. Block Pro here will be going live in the Discord, having his AMA. He does an AMA every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where you can get involved, ask questions as well. That's 5 p.m. English UK time, 6 p.m. CET. So go check that out, guys. And then we will also have the town hall with myself and that Martini guy Thursday. We do have an altcoin video dropping very soon. So the best place for the alpha is in the Discord. If you want one-to-one education as well, you can get that all in the Discord. So reach out to us if you have any questions as well. But Block Pro, really appreciate your time. We'll have to wrap up. I've got to jump onto another call. I'm going to leave my position open on Bitcoin there. So I'll keep you updated on how that position's going in the Discord. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, turn channel notifications on as well, because we don't always go live every at the same time every day. So turn those channel notifications on. Block Pro, thank you so much for your time and your insight today, man.
No worries.
Always kind of sets the week out for me, and kind of calms me down a little bit. Actually, knowing your take on things, it's very calculated. Which I appreciate.
I said it also to someone this weekend. Like, I lost too. I was wrong. I lost money, but I'm a trader and I will make it back anyway. I didn't get wrecked, and that's more important. So
that's it. As long as you still got skin in the game, we're all good. And that's something you teach.
Exactly.
Risk management.
100%. Right.
Brilliant. Right, guys.
Enjoy the day.
Take care. Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye.